Will you be eligible for the $2,000 tariff dividend check being proposed for 2026? And are you positioned early? President Trump has floated a $2,000 tariff dividend idea, but Congress would need to authorize the program and rules. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has discussed possible income limits like under $100,000, but nothing is final as of today. If your household income falls below that kind of threshold, you may be in the likely target group, but eligibility is not published. While some voices debate lower limits like $60,000, the public discussion has ranged wider and could still change in the future. This video breaks down how to track official updates, avoid scams, and prepare to receive funds without causing major tax chaos. We are going beyond headlines to give a practical roadmap for every tax-paying American resident who is watching this video right now. Missing official updates could delay benefits, create identity verification headaches, and cause unnecessary payment friction with your local bank. You must treat viral claim links as a dangerous trap, because only official Treasury or IRS guidance should drive your financial actions. American taxpayers and resident families should prepare documentation, but do not file anything claiming money that is not authorized by the law. The plan has been described as tied to tariff revenue, but the mechanics and distribution system are not formally released to the public. Fraud filters are tighter now because the government wants to stop the electronic fraud that hit past stimulus programs several years ago. This action plan gives you the checklist of steps and proof to be ready the moment an official program is opened for everyone. We will look at likely income limits and payment rails because this is the Tax and Borders channel, and we focus on facts. Following the rules means your identity and filing data must match cleanly across all IRS records and modern payment delivery systems. New payment policy is pushing the federal government away from paper checks and into electronic delivery methods for most people today. Paper checks are being phased out for most federal payments, including tax refunds beginning on September 30th, 2025. Can these new digital systems really stop the fraud waves we saw during past federal stimulus programs in 2020 and 2021? The White House is looking at ways to return money gathered from global trade and tariffs back to hardworking American households. Economic advisor Kevin Hassett has said checks would need congressional approval, so the final timing depends on new federal legislation. The core of the legal debate at the Supreme Court involves the separation of powers between the President and the United States Congress. While the executive branch has broad authority over trade, the power to spend and distribute money belongs strictly to the legislative branch. If the administration tries to move money without Congress, expect fast lawsuits and injunction requests from many states and private businesses. A ruling that narrows tariff authority or forces refunds could delay any dividend plan or push it into a tax credit instead. Does this dividend payment apply to green card holders, work visa residents, and international investors who pay taxes to the United States? Federal relief often follows tax residency rules like the substantial presence test, but each law can set its own specific limits. However, if you are a non-resident or filing through a foreign-owned LLC without U.S. residency, you are likely excluded. We are tracking whether the Treasury will require a Social Security number and whether ITIN filers would be excluded from the program. In previous waves, mixed status families faced eligibility restrictions and also payment frictions that sometimes took many months to resolve. Ensuring your 2025 tax return is filed with clean identity data and accurate income reporting is the best way to avoid delays. Middle-class labels are political language, but eligibility is usually defined by your adjusted gross income on your official tax return. People above the high-income cutoffs will likely be excluded, but the exact cutoff has not been enacted into federal law yet. The shift from paper checks to digital payments through direct deposit and approved electronic rails is the second major part of today. The federal phase-out of paper checks began in late 2025, so 2026 will feel more digital by default for everyone. This change means correct direct deposit details and clean identity data matter more than ever for receiving any kind of federal payment. You need to make sure your filing profile and bank routing information are accurate on your next return to avoid long delays. Is your current accounting software ready to track income, withholding, and identity data without creating avoidable mismatch notices for the IRS? The fourth part focuses on the tax treatment, because this could be taxable income, a rebate, or a credit depending on legislation. Good records are vital because the IRS will match payments and forms against the income you report for the current tax year. You need to know whether this is treated like a tax credit or income, because your filing strategy changes with that classification. The fifth part looks at how this hits American residents and local families who owe taxes to the United States government today. Domestic business owners must ensure personal and business accounts are separated, so deposits do not create classification confusion for your accountant. Local banking review rules can flag unusual government deposits, so clean documentation prevents unnecessary holds on your liquid business cash. Forgetting to report a taxable payment, if it is classified as taxable, can create penalties that erase the benefit of the check. Labeling the payment correctly is the best way to protect your accounts and keep your compliance profile clean for the long term. Does your family have a written plan for tracking federal payments, notices, and identity verification steps if they are required? One typical case involves a worker making $70,000 who never updates direct deposit details and misses the first wave of payments. If your electronic profile is outdated, payments can be delayed, returned, or pushed into manual review processes that take many months. Another common problem is a small shop owner who books a household payment as business revenue and creates major tax confusion. This mistake can trigger notices, extra tax, and stressful back and forth that wipes out the entire value of the dividend payment. We often see families with multiple filing situations struggling to decide whose return and identity data controls the federal payment. Some people move states and forget that state tax treatment can differ, even when the federal payment is exactly the same. Local business owners can face questions when a government deposit appears, and proper preparation prevents panic during a bank review. Banks may temporarily hold unusual deposits in rare cases, so documentation and clear labeling reduces friction for your business accounts. High-income people may try to game income limits, and that is where audit risk can rise if intentional fraud is involved. That can escalate into investigations for misrepresentation, so do not play games with your income reporting to the federal government. Most often, messy records and mismatched identity data are what create delays and compliance headaches for the average American family. Protecting yourself starts with cleaning up your records to show exactly where you live and how much you make each year. You must check your bank accounts every month to make sure deposits are correctly labeled and fully documented for your tax records. Keep your personal and business bank accounts separate so household payments do not mix with your daily operating business cash. Build a proof pack with your tax returns, residency evidence, and identity documents to show you are eligible if you are asked. Making a clear record now can save months of pain if verification steps increase when the program launches later this year. Make sure your bank knows you expect a federal payment so they do not mistake it for suspicious activity in your account. The move to digital payments means you must manage your online identity with the U.S. government systems very carefully from now on. Check only official websites and avoid unofficial links, because stimulus scams explode when rumors go viral on social media platforms. Organizing your records is the best way to defend against modern matching tech used by the Treasury and the IRS today. By keeping a clean record trail, you can prove you followed the rules as they are written, not as rumors claim. Do not ignore this, because the cost of mistakes can be much higher than the actual benefit of the check itself. Are you ready to show your eligibility and payment trail cleanly if verification steps are required by the federal government? The first step in our plan is to check your current income against potential eligibility ranges and your filing status. Second, you need to pick which bank account is best for receiving federal cash without causing any personal account trouble. Third, do a full check of your tax ID info to make sure it matches what the IRS has recorded for you. Fourth, set up electronic delivery readiness now, because paper checks are being phased out and delays punish the unprepared. Fifth, watch Congress and the Supreme Court, because program funding and legality will shape the final rules for everyone. Sixth, talk with a tax expert to see if any payment changes your withholding, credits, or filing strategy for the year. All steps should be finished within 30 days, so you are ready before the public rush hits the government systems. Timing is vital because once a program is official, digital systems slow down and customer support gets overwhelmed very quickly. Following this timeline will help you receive funds smoothly and avoid avoidable notices and delays from the IRS. What steps have you taken to ensure that your bank will not flag a federal payment as suspicious activity? The process needs a clear understanding of income limits, identity matching, and the digital payment shift under federal policy. You must build your proof pack and check your accounts to keep your family fully compliant and ready for 2026. Please subscribe to this channel and like the video, then share it with other business owners who want financial protection. This video is for education only and not legal advice because tax rules change, so always talk to a professional.